I'm Shaniqua Paris and I'm going to take you on a journey through my garden in my allotment. I think the working title for this is Ital living, so we're going to see how things grow from the ground, going upwards, to then even cooking some bits and bobs, so it's on your plate. So at the moment we are in early spring, so it's towards the end of May, and at the moment I've got some different fruits and veggies growing, so I'm very excited for you to have a look, so come and grow with me. I kind of want to take you on a journey with me through growing, so if you're someone that hasn't ever grown anything before, then this is definitely something for you to be watching. If you've never grown anything before but it's something that you've always wanted to do, then this is the perfect thing for you to watch, because I'm learning as I go along as well. I'd say it started initially from watching my dad grow some bits and bobs in his garden, and then I started to do some myself. I had potatoes, I had strawberries, I had spring onions, or scallion as some people may call it, all you jammers out there. And then eventually I ended up getting my own allotment so I can grow some bits and bobs myself, because I think when you have the resources too, as long as you have some soil somewhere, if you have a windowsill, if you have a tiny garden, or even your front garden, you can have a bag, like one of those big IKEA bags even, or the ones you can get from B&M. You can grow almost anything that you want in your own space. And it's healthy, it's good for you, and it's fresh. So I think it only makes sense. So we're almost here at my allotment. Come and have a look at my plot of land. So I've got this section here to the left, and this one to the right. I've had it for a few months now, but it's been really hard looking after it by myself when it comes to taking out all the weeds, because as soon as it's hot the weeds just shoot up, and I'll show you some really popular weeds as well. They're quite easy to take out. If you've seen farms and there's like just fields of yellow but you haven't really been up close, most likely this is what they are, and they can be used to make rapeseed oil. But all you do is just pull them out from the root, and they're quite easy to get rid of. I think it's really important when you're growing to mix of vegetables and flowers as well. Partly because it helps the veggies grow, and because they look so pretty. Hello! You're right. Oh no! What happened? What happened to my tomatoes? Well, I'm very annoyed. I was growing some Alicante tomatoes and I had to go up and down for the past week, so I haven't been coming as often as I have been, and now, if you can see, they have just shriveled to nothing, and I'm so annoyed. So because they're in the greenhouse, when you first start growing tomatoes, they have to be in a really warm environment. And then sometimes, depending on which ones you have, you can bring them outside. Otherwise, it's best to keep them inside the greenhouse. So these started off as small seedlings. So I planted these about 3 weeks ago, and they were growing up really nicely, probably about 3 centimeters long, just about an inch. And then because I haven't been watering them as frequently, they've just dissolved to nothing. And even some of my green beans as well. So not green beans, sorry. I had French climbing beans. So very annoyed, but it looks like we're gonna have to grow some fresh tomatoes and some fresh French climbing beans, so at least we can do that together. When it gets really hot, especially in a greenhouse, if you water something, you really have to keep on top of it, because otherwise it will dry up like the Sahara. Another thing when it comes to having an allotment is you have to be brave about the animals and things that you can see, because trust me, I'm always looking out for a rat's tail. Every time I come, usually I'll start off by making really loud noises, so if anything is around it can just run away and leave me alone. I do have a cat. It's not my cat, but I've kind of adopted the cat. It always comes around here and keeps me company. One of them's called Mr. Whiskers and the other one's called Puss Puss. So if they come about, I'll let you know. Puss Puss! I want to salvage what I can from these tomatoes, because I know they practically are in ruins. I might as well see if I can get something back from them. And these French climbing beans as well, because you never never know. It's not a new moon, but I'm hopeful. I'm not going to let that mistake happen to me again by hook or by crook. If I can't make it here, then I'm going to have to get someone else to come as well. You have to take time to grow time. See what I did there? These will take about 2 weeks before any first seedlings appear. And then I'm going to have to get rid of my tomatoes and get rid of some of these French climbing beans and plant again. I'm actually gonna try and salvage some of them before I give up completely. I'm gonna grow some new ones in here. So, French climbing beans come in this weird looking pod. Now if you come a bit closer, natural beans inside. Oh, that are good to grow. Oh look, they're pink like my gloves. So these are cute and lovely, and you pot them, one in each pot, and then after about 14 days they should start to appear. Get some soil and then we'll get these planted. I was told by Brian, who has an allotment just a couple of ones down, that you need to have a little bit for the birds, a little bit for the bugs, and there's a little bit for you. So cute. Alright, so I'm going to plant these French climbing beans. I'm going to pop them down. It doesn't matter which way you plant them, just as long as they're down. I'd say about an inch. Then you want to cover that up. And the same. And then I'm going to show you outside because some of my shallots are growing. Lovely. Alright, and then I'm going to water them shortly. So come on, let me show you my shallots. I've been told to get the best out of your plants and veggies, you have to plant them on a new moon. So I've just done that. And you can see these beautiful shallots. These are my spring onions. Very nice, very fragrant. This one's ready. Look at that. Look at that bright green colour. That fragrant smell is so strong, and it's even still a bit wet from some of the rainwater, which makes it even more pure. So when you're cooking this, whether you're putting it in your mackerel or you're slicing them up to go in a nice salad, you can really taste the love that's gone into it. Yes, I know it sounds super extra, but it's true. Right, so that is Gardening 101 with me, Shanika Paris. That's how to not grow tomatoes in your greenhouse, but how to try and salvage them. So hopefully when you come back in a week's time, they can be back and fruitful and ripe as ever. But if not, we did plant some brand new French climbing beans. So the next episode, you can see how they went on. I'll speak to you soon.